I think most of us will live with anxiety, and there is a certain level of anxiety to which we get used to, and we consider that as normal, and that just becomes part of us. And then if it goes above that, then you feel that you are anxious. Now, if your heartbeat picks up, and then if you start sweating, or you lose appetite, you're unable to sleep, then you feel that you're anxious. But actually, we do live with some percentage of anxiety all the time. So I did my research and also studied various aspects, like from where did the anxiety stem actually? What is the reason of anxiety? And so the reason which we will just take up today is completely different from what we think. And when we start living in the body form, and the biggest fear we live with is fear of losing it. So right from the time, when a baby is born, you see that baby has all the instincts to survive. If you just push him up, and it's like that, by nature, he knows to, cringe and cling to you. And then somehow this is inborn, that even child who doesn't understand anything about existence yet, but doesn't want to pop out of body. I just want to cling to body. So whenever we start getting, these physical shocks to body, that is the first step of stored anxiety. Physical shocks is like, when you fall down all of a sudden, right from, when you start your journey of life, and then somebody slaps you. So that is physical impact. So I'm just stressing upon the fact that it is not emotional impact, it is actually physical impact. And all of a sudden, you meet with an accident. So that is a physical impact. You fall sick, and you cannot comprehend what is going around you. That is a physical impact. So that is the root cause of anxiety. So if you look at the physical impacts which we receive, so then I will take one example of that how anxiety gets stored on the cellular level. So this person fell when he was 6 or 7 years old, and he had a deep cut here on his eyebrow. So, and then stitches were given, and it was very painful experience at that time, no anesthesia and things like that. So he says, whenever I go to hospital, or I see a doctor in white robe, I have stress here, this fluctuates, this eyebrow, and I have headache here. So he didn't know that, that this happened when he was young. But then this thing turns on when he sees anything similar to the hospital, any smell, or any doctor, or any scene in any movie, so this thing starts vibrating or fluctuating, and then also has some physical somatic on that. And then similarly, one person told me that he has asthma, and that asthma nobody could cure. And then we pick it up in the session, and we found out that when he was like 4 or 5 years old, he was blowing a balloon, and then balloon bursted in his mouth, and it got stuck in his throat. And then as a result, he is running to save himself, and he finds a milkman on the road, and then he rushes to that milkman, save me, because he can't even talk because it's not letting it breathe. So somehow that person, saved him, took him to the hospital. So these incidents, what I'm talking, it's not like these people, they came with these incidents and told me like, this is what happened to me, right? This is when we backtrack. Like, when was the first time you experienced anxiety? And then mind gave those incidents or those pictures. He says, oh, really? I have to go home and check with my mom. Like, did it happen to me? Because that's how mind is presenting that information. But once you touch that incident over there and then you go through it, so that asthma goes away forever. But now, as long as you do not know from where is it coming, so he has milk allergy, because as soon as he sees milk and he can't have it. Milk doesn't go in, because in the picture there was a milkman, you know. And then similarly, the guy who had these stitches, he had, you know, these particular smells, and the hospital and the doctors. So that used to bring anxiety.